Hey, what's up, guys? I'm K Mac. Welcome to the podcast. We got some special guests. We got Long Lamb from ShotCaller and Hunter Dansbury. Talk a little bit about LA 28 and the sport of judo. Hey, Long Lamb, start asking who you are and what's your story, man?
Well, yeah, thanks for that. I call myself just the quintessential American success story. My parents came from Vietnam after the war. My mom was a tiger mom, like many of our moms are, and she loved us dearly, but also made sure we focused on hard work and education. And that really what was driven my success. And throughout my entire life, I've been very passionate about sports. When I was a kid, played baseball, wrestled, played some rugby with my buddy here, Hunter, while we were in business school. And then afterwards, 8 years at Eagle Rock Rugby. And for the last couple of years, my son and I have been practicing judo at a local dojo, San Fernando Valley Judo. And in my professional life, last 20 years, been in technology. And I'm at this point where we're building this great company, a ShotCaller, that really bridges sports, technology, and the community together. So I'm just so happy that I've found myself here. And yeah, definitely excited to talk more about that.
Hey, man, that's great, man. That's cool. Don't you tell us like a little bit more the sport of judo? What is judo?
So for me, judo is really just the way I live my life. And that really comes from the kind of two key tenets of judo. The first is that it's about maximum efficiency and minimum effort, meaning as a self defense art, you're able to throw really big people around, even though you're pretty small, like myself. The person that created judo, Sensei Kano, was only 5'2" and 90 pounds. And he was one of the most successful judokas. I mean, he's originator. So that is one big part of it for me, just kind of as a self-defense mechanism. And the second is really, like I said, a way of life. Because in judo, we talk a lot about mutual welfare and benefit, how we help each other. And that's a really big part of what I think is important as a human being. As it relates to the martial art itself, judo is a grappling art like BJJ or wrestling, but it's a little bit different because it focuses more on something called tachiwaza. You learn a lot of Japanese when you do judo because it's a Japanese
Right.
sport. So the term tachiwaza basically means it's a lot of different standing throws using your hands, using your hips, or using your feet versus nawaza, which is more about ground techniques like pins and submissions. And so there's a lot more emphasis on tachiwaza versus nawaza, which, in BJJ, that's a bigger emphasis. But generally, a lot of fun. It's very athletically challenging and it's a skill that keeps you really safe. I'll tell you the biggest enemy you have as you go through your life is the ground. And if you're been through some of those winter storms recently and slipped and fell, using your judo, you'd be able to protect yourself better and not break a hip and things like that. So, yeah, that's a little bit about judo itself.
Cool. You mentioned how it's a very skill sport and you want to keep everything safe. So, what is judo like for kids?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big proponent of that. My son Liam is been doing judo about as long as I have, last couple of years, and we found it actually through the LA park system. I'm in Los Angeles, and we're really excited about the LA Olympics. And the park system has been really investing in different Olympic sports, including judo. And growing up in the Valley, I'm in San Fernando Valley, as I mentioned. That's where they filmed Karate Kid. As you all know, kids from the
Oh,
80s,
yeah.
you were
Love it.
surrounded by Bruce Lee. And even if you weren't into martial arts, you had to be because everybody was talking about it. And because, I never myself had that opportunity as an immigrant, kid, I wanted to make sure my son had that opportunity. Because of that park system, judo was one of the sports that we started very early when he was about 5 years old. And we stuck with it. And the reason we picked judo, honestly, it's actually pretty cheap versus other sports because
Yeah.
it's really community oriented. I wanted him to do a grappling sport because if you're on the playground and you're just kind of wrestling with somebody, you're probably going to get less in trouble versus if you punch or kick somebody, as a kid. And so I
Yeah.
thought that would be a safer option just from a martial arts perspective. And so that's kind of how we found it and how we started. In terms of, I think what I see as he goes through his journey, it's a really hard sport, man. It's not easy, and part of it is because you're telling your kid since they were born not to fight and get in trouble and beat up other kids, and then you throw them into like a martial arts, and you're like, hey, like it's okay now. You can do it in the dojo, and so that is, I think, kind of a mind shift, right? Because that's all they knew. So that's kind of starting point. But as they start to do it, I think what I found interesting and what my son told me at one point, he really wanted to quit. He was like, "Dad, don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it." And I asked him, "Hey, tell me why. Like, what is it about it that you don't like?" And he's like, It's not like I don't like it, but I don't think I'm very good at it because it's
Right.
so hard." And what I found interesting was like just the psychology of kids. I guess it's like when their entire lives they think, "Hey, if I'm good at something, that means it's fun and I like it, right?" And when it's hard, it's probably because I'm not good at it. And basically, I just told them, "Hey, like the fact that you realize it is hard, by the way, and then the reason you see it's hard is actually you're internalizing it, you're self-reflecting, and that's really good. So just stick with it and see where it goes." And so I don't know if that helped or not, honestly, because he was like 6 years old. And there's only so much a kid can learn or
Yeah, of
comprehend,
course.
but he stuck with it, right? And he got stronger, and then he was able to, mature and grow and learn how to move his body in the right way. And nowadays, he's just throwing his friends around, and he gets to do it for fun, and he really enjoys it. And I think the last thing I'll just note is like just for kids, you got to keep it fun. At our dojo, we try to do a lot of community events. We just do small things, barbecues, birthdays, things like that. And yeah, I think that's important if you want your kid to sustain in a martial art that's hard like judo.
Right. Yeah. I mean, us as kids growing up, like we played sports, and as a parent, what do you think? It's like just looking at your son and being a parent in judo. What does that bring to you?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's first it's really scary. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, right? Your kids kind of running around, getting thrown around on the mat, and so I think there's a lot of anxiety when you start because you just yourself really don't understand, know about it. But I think you have to just realize that there's people there that are professionals that are helping the kids grow. Eventually, you realize that throwing and falling is a big part of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I think that's kind of this first emotion you feel a little bit scared. And
Mhm.
I think the next is a little bit inspired because you just kind of see them grow and it's not easy work. I eventually got myself on the mat, the tatami mats myself. And before I would just watch him go through his warm-ups, 30-minute warm-up, right? They're running back and forth, doing flips, doing all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, that seems easy enough. I'm pretty athletic. That's not a big deal. And the first time I jumped on the mat with the kids and I did the warm up, I was gassed. I was gassed, man. I was like gassed in like 10 minutes. And I was like, dude, like my kid does this every, 2, 3 times a week and he's just chill. I'm like, dang, that's pretty hard. That's really inspiring. So I think that was the next thing. And I encourage a lot of parents to get on the mat because you ask your kids to do these really hard things. You should really experience how hard it is and have that empathy, honestly. So that was kind of the next thing I saw. The next was really just about patience. Oftentimes, as you were saying, Kamal, like, you get pushed a little bit too much, I think, in sports, especially when they're really young. I can say myself, I probably did a little bit of that too much. And so I just realized, hey, just let them enjoy themselves, trust the process. Everybody learns at a different rate. There's just still kids, still 7, 8, 9, even 10, 12, right? Give them that time to figure out. So just learning myself how to be patient for him and for myself, I think was important. And at last, it's just kind of once I got past all that, it was just really, like I said, enjoying the process for him and as myself as a parent. Really embracing the community. You meet a lot of really cool people at the dojo. We go to a lot of tournaments and events, and I see a lot of the same faces nowadays and get to know different people. So it's a really nice. It's like I said, it's kind of like a way of life, right? So think about it more than just what you see day to day on the mat and really embrace the community.
That's great, man. That's cool. So us, we're probably just a little bit older now. We're not in our 20s, you know. What is it like being an older guy in judo, and how do you fit in or get in, and why?
Yeah, yeah. So I was just kind of alluding to the fact that I've been doing judo with my son Liam for the last couple of years. And it just really started with me sitting on the bench just watching him during practice. And then one day he got off the mat and he was like, "Dad, like, what are you doing? Why are you just sitting there? Like, why don't you just get on the mat and practice with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I guess that makes sense. I'm just sitting here on my phone, why not kind of do what I tell you to do and actually do it? And that's really how I got started. And I talked about wanting to do this before, and I felt like maybe I was too old, but there's no better time than today to do anything, right? As they say, and so that's kind of how it started. Not, like I was telling you, I've been doing rugby for like 8 years before, so I felt like I had a good athletic background. And judo is actually much safer than rugby. No, you're not tackling 20-year-old, 300-pound guys. anymore on the open field. You're kind of in a more controlled environment. So for all the old guys that are wanting or interested in starting, I'd say go for it. I think the most important thing is there is a judo fit that you have to be, and so start by getting to that point, and a lot of it is just showing up every day and practicing and warming up. Trust your body because it will tell you when you need a day off. You don't need to go every day or every 2 days. You can take a couple days off where you need to, and find ways to continue to just be strengthen your body. I do a lot of swimming with Liam as well, and so I think that's a great kind of off day exercise where you're just really no load bearing. You're just kind of stretching yourself out. And I think some of the breathing exercises that you do in swimming really helps you compete in judo as well. Well, I'll tell you, as a 42-year-old guy, it's not ever too late. And the great news is, like, also if you want to compete, there's competitions for old folks like us with the same weight classes and same skill levels. So it's a much safer environment to explore. And I really encourage that as well. Yeah. The last thing I'll just note is that judo is just not physical. There's a intellectual aspect of it. I like playing games quite a bit, puzzles or board games and things like that. And if you think about judo as like a chess game, kind of, which what it is, there's also this very interesting intellectual game where you're trying to understand how to outplay your opponent. So I really find that part of it really interesting, exciting, keeps my brain super intrigued about the sport. And so I think there's a lot of benefits just mentally, physically from that standpoint.
Hey man, that's great, man. That's good to hear because I keep ice pack on the side every time I play hoops. So Well, hey man, we're gonna get to LA 28. Number one, can you tell me a bit of LA 28? I know also some history with judo, Tokyo, and Barcelona. Explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. So I think starting point, judo introduced into the Olympics in Tokyo in 64, and then for the women in 92 in Barcelona. The format is there's a team event, mixed team event. And then there's individual events, 7 weight classes for the men, 7 for the women. And so there's just going to be a lot of action, right? Just in terms of just the number of matches and competitions happening. In LA, man, we're just so pumped to have the Olympics back. The imprints of 1988 Olympics is still in the city. It's crazy. Out at my dojo, there's a banner on there that says, "Hey, we were a host site for some of the different teams in '88 that used to come and just would practice with us and practice as they were getting ready to compete." And so we're just so excited to welcome back the Olympics to our city. California itself is kind of the number one state for judo. I mean, we have the most dojos. We host quite a number of different national and regional events. And so the judokas here are very excited that they have the opportunity to witness these professionals in person. And the most exciting thing, honestly, for everybody, even myself, is that there's no better opportunity than now to be an Olympic judoka for the US. And what I mean by that is the neat thing about being a host country is that you have an automatic qualifying spot for each of those weight classes I mentioned, 14, which is not typical. If you look at Paris in 2024, we only had 4 representatives from the US in judo. And so everybody's talking about it, man. Like they're like, hey, I got to like get in shape. The
yeah.
USA Judo just put out their preliminary qualifications, like how you can actually be an Olympic member of the team. So folks old and new are just kind of gritting their teeth and saying, "What do I need to do?" Right? Because this is like maybe my last opportunity to be a Olympic athlete, in my life. And so, yeah, we're just all super excited about that. And as it relates to shot caller, I mean, this is really the prime time for us to really bring the type of digital engagement that we want to bring to this community. We're doing it with USA Judo at the national events, and we're also working with a lot of dojos in the local area to really increase awareness and really build the sport. And so we just believe there's just so much opportunity in judo. It's so exciting. There's all these moments that we can really capture and share and engage with that are coming across the board as the Olympics are coming to LA.
So, getting to shot collar, how does shot collar help organizations?
Yeah. So ShotCaller, first and foremost, is a platform. So we have number of different capabilities and services that really can help organizations in a lot of different ways. Our core platform is really around digital engagement. And so that's really around how do we help dojos build around their classes, how they build around the events that they host, and really just build their digital presence. And so there's a lot of interesting things that we're doing there to gamify an event, as well as just kind of the operations for a organization. The other capabilities that we're really excited about is the event management platforms. We have a great platform that really helps you register your participants, sign waivers, capture payment, communicate to them, all the kind of stuff that you need to run an event effectively. The other platform we have is Dojo Management Platform. So as a dojo, there's a lot of things you have to worry about. And instead of worrying about them, you can kind of hand it over to us and we make it really easy for you to manage those classes, take attendance, register your kids and adults for your dojo, make sure they're paying and so that you can run your dojo effectively. We're also powered by a lot of different AI. So we're building a lot of really cool and easy experiences for dojo owners. So instead of, having to manage these different weird portals to like manage your website or update your class, there's a lot of things that we do that allow you to just talk naturally to these endpoints and have you maintain, your class schedule or things like that. Just a lot of different opportunities to make your life easier as well as run things more effectively. And like I said, really promote and build your digital presence out there in Instagram or TikTok and other places like that.
Hey, Hunter, how does ShotCaller work with organizations?
Hey, come on. Thanks for asking, man. At a high level, ShotCaller helps organizations turn moments they already have into engagement they actually own. Many organizations do a great job at running events and programs, but once the weekend ends, the connection with families and fans and athletes often disappears. We help bridge that gap. ShotCaller gives organizations simple tools to create interactive digital experiences that extend beyond the venue. The key is organizations have an opportunity to better own the relationship instead of just renting attention on social media. So whether it's a youth tournament, a national championship, or something building up to LA 28, we help turn participation into community and community into something really sustainable.
So let me ask you this. What does judo mean to you?
Listen, I'm a sports fanatic, so I'm new to the sport of judo. It's been great hanging out with Long and watching him actually practice the sport in person. Athletes, watching anyone who's dedicated to something extends beyond just physical activity. What's drawn my attention so much to judo, just what the word judo means, Ju, gentle, Do, the way, right? Gentle way, literally translation and gentle way. And so that gentleness principle has really resonated to me. And gentle doesn't mean weak, right? It means flexible, it means adaptive, and it means being efficient. And so those are cool tenets within sport that I just learned that extend beyond the mat, right? Those are things you can take with in life. And so Long alluded to bigger people being able to use those principles to take down folks that are larger than them. That relates to probably companies and all things in life. And so whether you're a big company taking on a small company, or a big person taking on a smaller person, or a smaller creator taking on a larger creator, or a smaller brand taking on a bigger brand, right? The whole ability of being flexible, nimble, adaptive, and efficient are all themes that carry on and extend beyond the mat. And so the sport of judo, outside of just being, engaging sport that I'm learning, the core tenets within the sport itself just really resonate. And I think that's something that everyone could take with them in life.
That's very cool to hear. So my podcast, I always do a top 5. It's coming to our home country, our hometown. Start off with man. What is your top 5 sports going to be for LA 28?
Yeah, well, definitely judo up there for us to
Obviously.
go to. I also, like I said, played rugby. So rugby 7, it's going to be real cool. exciting sport to watch. Big swimmer. So some of the different swimming opportunities are going to be really cool. Wrestling as well. Again, just very dynamic and stuff that I like to do. And then hopefully I can get some tickets, but I love basketball, being in LA.
I love it.
And so if I can
Yeah.
catch some games there at, any of the arenas, that'd be great as well.
Hey, man, that's a good list. Well, Hunter, your top 5 sports for LA 28 coming up.
Okay, come on. Thanks for asking. I love top 5. We're talking top 5 sports for LA 20. I'm going to go soccer number 1 off the heels of the World Cup. So we have a World Cup here this summer, and I know that's going to be a ton of excitement, and it'll be great to see how it builds on for the Olympics for LA 28. So number 1, soccer, no particular order. Number 2, new to the Olympics, flag football. Watch not only the men and NFL players trying to get on flag, but the women. The women's flag football team for the US is nasty. Like those girls, those women are legit. They're doing their thing.
Yeah.
They're already in competition. One of their biggest rivals, I believe, is Mexico. And so you have Titans already competing within that sport, and it'll be great to watch it play out on the global stage. Number 3, Taekwondo, right? So we're back in the combat. Very adaptive, very quick sport someone's there to knock someone's block off, and an amazing sport to watch as well. Number 4, big track and field guy, but the specific sport is the 4x4 relay. So let's do a team sport. Go ahead and get it past the baton. Watch that anchor come across the screen and finish the race. And then number 5 is judo. I'm going to be practicing my throws, my techniques. I'm out here in Minnesota. It's very slippery. So if I do need to take a spill, maybe I'll learn how to tumble and won't break that hip, right? So maybe judo can help out with that. So those are the 5: soccer, flag football, taekwondo, track and field, 4x4 relay, and judo.
Hey, man, well, for LA 28, I learned a lot about the sport of the judo. Thank you, Hunter and Long from ShotCaller, for coming on. I appreciate it. You guys want to share anything else before I close out?
Absolutely. Kamal, you asked us our top 5. I want to know yours. What's your top 5? What are you excited about coming to LA 28? Let's hear it.
Okay. So my top 5 off the dome, basketball. Number 1, I love hoops. Number 2, I love football. They're not going to do the contact sports, so they're going to do the flag. I'm cool with that. Number 3, track and field, Carl Lewis. I loved Michael Johnson. So 4, I've always been into gymnastics. Back in the day, like we grew up watching Dominique and
that Mags.
Gymnastics is always a big one, and I would have to go number 5. Let's go with judo.
Hey,
I'm into it, man. I'm into judo now.
3 for 3.
I am intrigued. So yeah, I have to go with those. I'm excited. I will leave all you guys' information, the description on the screen. Is there anything else for you guys?
No, man, just get out there and practice is all I'll say. Get out there.
Get out there.
Cool, man.
Practice. Just the gentle way, baby. The gentle way.
Right. The gentle way. Well, thank you, Hunter and Long. Until next time, I'm out.
Yeah. Thanks, Kamal.
Thanks, Kamal.